They say that experience is the greatest teacher of all. And if we haven't experienced, we haven't learned anything. Today we have with us our dear brother who has stood firm when he faced the storms of life. When life knocked him down, he held on to the cross of Lord Jesus Christ, who is the anchor and hope of our faith. Thank you, Shekhar, for being with us. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you, Brother Sam.
To begin with, brother, give a glimpse about your childhood.
I was from a Hindu background, and why I said mixed bag is because my mom had a background of Christian faith. Okay. Though she was not completely into it, but yes, she had that faith since her childhood because her parents, that's my grandmom, were the first of their generation Christians. Okay. So she had some of it, but yes, because of norms and all, she has to marry my father, being a Hindu. So okay. It was like that. I was being in that kind of family. I was so into it that I get involved easily with everything. So I was grown along with a lot of Brahmin kids around, and it's so much I grown up with hearing about lots of that Puranas and all those stories, watching them when the TV was new at that time. And however way possible, my father used to bring books regarding that, like small stories about them. So I was very fascinated about that mystic things and all. And our school children also used to. So that's how I grew up. And at the other side, my cousins, they were all used to share this few of the Bible stories. I used to get very little opportunity because my dad is very strict on those things. He doesn't want those things to me. So he maximum avoids me to be with my grandmom's side. But however, like it was like that. I was like jumping on two boats or trying to travel in the same boat at the same time. Two different boats at the same time. That's how I was brought up. But yes, the first knock was not to me, but for my mom, because she know that she believed in Christ, though she was not baptized at that time of her marriage, married a Hindu marriage to my father. But yes, I was born healthy and all well. Everything is going good with my mom and my family. Okay. But when I was around 18 months, a child who is so good in looking wise or healthy, all is good. But yes, all of a sudden I was started to have different symptoms of vomitings and crying. I don't know. That's what I heard from my parents. But yes, as I saw my reports as I grew up, it was like 18 months. I was diagnosed with retinoplasty. They said that if the eye was not removed on my right side, the other eye will also be, the vision also will be lost on the right side. I mean, on the left side. Okay. So they asked us to immediately get the operation done. It was not diagnosed very quickly as per my mom's narration. But yes, that's the first knock. Then my mom realized maybe I should get back to my God. And she slowly started to make us, as we grow up, it's been difficult because my father being from a different faith, he wanted my mom to follow whatever he has. Though we have been going on to pilgrimages and other things, but yes, her heart is like pumping on God. Always there's kind of friction because my dad knows that she has that kind of faith, and they used to end up in arguments or whatever this thing that might be. But I have grown up such kind of situations. And yes, as we say, tough times only make us tougher.
True.
And I was having, because I don't know, the interest in me or the fascination about myths and mythology, I was grown up in such kind of atmosphere.
Okay.
So I had acquired this knowledge of the so-called, the pigs and all. I was so much into it that, I used to calculate more, the auspicious times of the day. And I used to follow them so much that I used to avoid even non-veg. Touching non-veg.
Yeah.
So I was like that. They used to call me, what man, you are Brahmin born in our family. So they used to call me such a way. I mean, on the funny side, not to offend anyone. But yes, that's how I was. I was like, I used to avoid any kind of non-veg. And I used to stay, say, no, today is Tuesday and today is Tidya and I cannot go this time. This is Rahukala, and this is Varjam, and I used to calculate everything, and even used to check my daily, at that is at the age of 12 and 13 and 14 at that time.
Okay.
I was such a way because I was having this thing, and also like once in a while my mom used to remind us, like God is the one true God. But one thing that really impacted me, even today I remember that, is the story that she has been telling us. She used to keep us next to her, laying down at the bedtime stories. She used to share the story of that one book, The Flower Basket. Even today it is available. It was there in Telugu with the same translation, same wording. These kind of stories actually that my mom had taught us. She asked us to pray in secret. My dad, if he's out of the house, we close the doors, and in secret we used to kneel down and pray.
That's nice.
And then if at all there is a kind of hint of us praying or holding the Bible, and it would be like silent silence in the house, and my dad used to stop talking to us for a while, and it was more horrible because staying in the same house and not talking to your dear ones, and it's really tough. It's not easy staying in the same house. So such kind of way I used to pray. So I was like used to play safe. Okay, for my dad I will go along with him to the temples and worship and all whatever, and for my mom, okay, I will pray and worship. That's why like I was kind of juggling. So I was okay going to temples and all, and I was okay, I'll pray for my mom. She's asking you to pray and study Bible. I don't know anything to study at the time because we are, still that I'm not so acquainted with reading Telugu, particularly in that time.
So you had such an upbringing, right? So difficult upbringing, a secret faith. You had a secret faith. So was there a phase in your life, or was there a phase where you wanted to give up on life because of the pain and suffering?
When I was 14, because I was telling you, like, since the age of teens, I was being like that, as I said, I used to calculate Durmuhurta, Rahukala, auspicious times of the days, bad time, and, Tidhi, Vajjas, and all those times as calculated by those people. I used to be like, think, oh my God, this time I had to be in this hour, oh, that's very bad. So that kind of mentality I got up on my mind, in my life. And then all of a sudden, when I was going into this kind of thing, when I was in 8th standard, back in 2003, 2004, that's when I was all of a sudden falling sick. I was diagnosed with tumorous cancer developing. It's like kind of a liquid that's been growing next to my cerebellum. That's when it's been a real turn of my life, actually. Because doctors also said, like, initially people couldn't find out what's happening with me. Then when we gone for the specialist and experts, then they said that there's this kind of tumor that's been developing, but yet that can be fatal. Even if it is operated, they cannot give any guarantee of me living. Even if I has to live, I'll be max to 6 months to 1 year. That too either paralyzed beneath my waist or on one side of my body, either of the sides. So it was such a kind of situation, and my mom and all my grandmom's side, lots of people I remember from my grandmom's church. Today the same church we are going, they used to come and pray for me. And I remember my dad taking oath, I will go by walk, I'll come on my knees and I'll shave my head for you if you say without operation, because he has consulted quite a few doctors, and then they said I may not be surviving even if it is operation. Even post surgery, they said I may not be surviving. And I have I don't know this intensity of the thing I have gone through when I was of that time. But yes, why I'm saying that's a prominent thing in my life, because an 8th class or 8th standard student who has to miss out his college school, and who has to miss out his friends, and I has to be bedridden, and I had to go under chemotherapy, and I had to go under a lot of medication and all syringes every day. I don't know, it may be like 10 to 30, sometimes 10 to 20 I don't remember exactly count, but yes, there are lots of syringes that's been given, injections that been given to me, and people don't believe. I was out of the hospital by by 10 days. I want to run out of the hospital. I'm trying. I want to get out of this hospital.
Yeah.
I have seen people around me in front of me lying there for months, and they were paralyzed beneath their waist. And everyone are astonished to see me trying to get out of the that ward, because I don't want to stay there.
Okay.
So God had healed me there, and today when I see look back, I have seen in front of me a child of our milkman, the one who brings us milk.
Okay.
His son, he's just 12 years old. He has also gone similar thing like mine.
Okay.
And what happened is he was operated with a hope, but yes, by 1 year he was suffering by his body was paralyzed beneath his waist, and he couldn't do anything on his own, and he died after 1 year.
Okay.
So I realized only then I started to dig back what is exactly that I have gone through.
Okay.
And then I came across this details that it was really intense, that God has saved me from deathbed.
Yeah.
And since that time I somehow I used to cling on to God till I was again into +2. Actually, one thing I had to mention here, I was so interested in studies.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, because the operation is next to my cerebellum and medullum, so I was asked to not to take any stress. And my dad suggested me, don't worry. I don't want you to study, no problem. You stay back at home. That's enough for me. You stay alive in front of us. That's fine. But the so-called thing, I was like so crying every day. My pillow used to get wet all night. Because I'm crying, Lord, what happened to me? Why is this? It's better. Because post this operation, I don't know whether it is the impact of the situation or because of the operation, I don't know, surgery. I was into depression for almost 3 years. I was not here not at the school, not at the, till +2. I haven't been to school or college like post 8th, so 9th, 10th and 4 years.
Okay.
So I was like, my dad was telling, no problem, don't stay, don't worry, we'll somehow manage, not a problem.
Yeah.
So I was interested in studies. I want to study. I used to cry, God, what is this? I was next to a school actually. So I was looking at all of them. People used to look at me strangely, and my parents used to cry because they look as if they're looking some insane person standing in front of the gate and looking at those children. Cool. So they're all going to school, and I was not able to go to school and all. And this incident actually had great impact in my life, because this is what my testimony this became my testimony, because I don't know what is happening to me at that time. Everyone around me are very serious, crying.
So was there any time you wanted to end up your life?
Yeah, that's the phase, because I was like just kept in a room and I couldn't go anywhere, or I'm not so great, I'm weak, and I had to cry every night. That's when I felt like, what is this? Lord, help me die. I used to pray like that. Then I was realizing, I don't know, I used to pray. I never told this to anybody, but yes, I used to pray, God, I better die and no one want this kind of life. And I even got into a suicidal tendency. Okay. But yes, God has turned my weeping into joy, because till +2, I haven't been to school and college, but somehow God helped me to clear the 10th and +2 without going to school and college. And everyone are astonished, without going school and college, how could you even manage to clear the subjects? So I don't say I have cleared with distinction and all, but yes, God helped me to clear with the par first class in all this. Why I'm telling this is because a boy who was asked to not to take any kind of stress, because education impacts on us on success and all. God has given me an opportunity, or I feel it's His glory, not mine. He made me able to study my graduation.
So now that you have experienced so much of pain and chaos, and also one side you're having pain in your heart, and you're facing difficult circumstances from all around, and still you completed your education. But still you did not know Jesus, right? But still Jesus was not introduced to you, and your father was still objecting to to talk about Jesus or to let you know about Jesus. So with so much of chaos and turmoil in your life, how did you turn to Jesus?
Post my graduation, I went on to do my MBA in Bangalore, MS Ramaya University.
Okay.
MS Ramaya College. So what happened is, many people used to take a year back and then they used to prepare for MAT and CAT and all this. God's grace, it was so much that I just went in just preparing for a week or something, just casually. So God has given me a good percentile and got that seat in that particular college. And everyone are astonished, to be honest, when I say I haven't been to any coaching for a year or something. I haven't taken any year. But why I'm telling you this, I used to say to myself secretly, because I know I want to grow closer to God, and I used to say, okay, as I go to Bangalore, I'll be free from my father's supervision and I'll go closer to God. But actually what happened is, it's opposite of what I thought. I was gone against to God's will. Though I was not into a lot of things what the present youth is going, be it anything, drinking or smoking or those kind of things. But yes, I was into the world again. As I was telling, the circle of mine, I used to go with them for the temple, what they want me to go. I used to think, what is there in that? Till then, I was still, as I said, going in the same. My friend and a fellow Christian, she is also used to say that, Shekhar, it is not always good to travel on two boats at the same time. So you have to decide something. But yes, till the time I met the person in my graduation, post my graduation actually, after my MBA. Even in MBA, as I was doing well with my studies, okay, I don't say I'm the topper in the class or something, but as I was doing okay with the college, studies and all, I was not into any campus interviews. I'm not getting selected. People used to ask, guy, you're good at communication skills, and why didn't you get in somewhere? I used to feel, what's happening with me? And I was like wondering, why is not that I'm not able to not able to get into any good interview, like in a good post or good settlement. Then I was praying, and God, please help me. All of a sudden, my friend called me early in the morning. Then he asked me to attend the TCS interview. Then that morning I went early morning, as he told me that. I quickly got up, and it's a long journey from the place I am into the company. So that day I was praying, God, if it's your will, let me get this job at least. Already all my campuses are gone, big companies. I haven't been able to get in any of them. Everyone are questioning, why people are questioning me, like, you're good at this and good at that, why you're not? I was into organizing committees, and then other activities, cultural activities committees, and all these committees. So I was well known somewhat. I don't say so much famous, but yes, somewhat known to people. And they were asking everyone, teacher, why you didn't get it settled? So that time, because I didn't know that I was away from God. I'm actually distancing myself from God, because I was so much carried away by the glitzy of the world, because I was away from my studies for a while and the college life. But when I got the freedom, I was actually thinking that when I leaving to Bangalore from my hometown, Kakinada, I was thinking, okay, I'll go there, and every week, every Sunday, I'll go to church and I'll pray and I'll get baptized over there. Because my father will not be near me. But I did opposite of that. I used to worship, go to temples and all. I know some might get offended telling me saying this, but yes, when we know someone closer who is Savior, who has saved my life, who has done great things in my life, we tend to leave him. And that's when sometimes we give the scope to the evil one to knock us. And we tend to blame God, why you did this to me? We forgot what has happened with us, because our own mistake, we let the evil one to do what is happening to us. So I was not into any campus selections, and then this so-called TCS, all of a sudden my friend called me up, rang me up in the morning, and we went there. So I got in. I was wondering, I got in there. Then 3 months, my mom was asking me, since the first day of joining, you should give your tithe 10%, and you should give your first salary to God. My mom, I used to say, Mom, what you are telling, I didn't even get what I was supposed to get. The package is very low, and I'm not even getting what is supposed to be, there on the paper. What is there on the paper is not what I'm getting. So I used to sulk on it.
Okay.
And then it so happened my one paper, statistics paper, was pending. Everyone used to ask, you failed? How come?
Okay.
I was so stubborn and proud. I used to say, oh, nothing, I'll clear off. I used to say this, and I used to just, I went on to go for revaluation.
Okay.
So confident, or I would say so overconfident. I didn't prepare anything. I gave a second shot. First shot, I failed with revaluation. Again, I paid money. Again, I failed. And finally, third year again, revaluation. I went for revaluation again. That time, I'm not asking God, Lord, help me out to clear this subject. No. But sometimes, God helps us to realize that He is still there by our failures also. That time, I know I was so overconfident. Statistics need practice and all. I was so overconfident that I never used to practice. End of the day, I couldn't clear the paper. But that very exam result was there while I was just joining in the PCS on the first week. Then I was so overconfident. I said, okay, I will just reapply for revaluation and I will clear it off. But end of the day, before telling that, I was like so much again. I was telling as my mom was telling to give me tithes because your dad is not asking for your salary. At least give your tithe and give first salary. No problem. I will send some money for you. But I used to say no. Why I should give? I am not getting what I wanted or what I used to get. I mean, what I expected to get. So end of the day, after 3 months of my tenure over there, I was there. In a different pilgrimage in Andhra on the southern side, so one of the famous one. So the thing is, it so happened the friend of mine who wanted me to accompany him to the church. I denied him that time, but I accompanied him to go to that so-called pilgrimage spot, so that I can see some new spot, a new pilgrimage center, and I shaved my head over there. And I don't know if I should call it a coincidence or the consequence of my activities. I had to resign the job soon after that, coming back from that. But why I have to mention is, this very incident, I bought that prasad from that particular place and I was distributing in the office. And there's one guy in the office who denied it. And I actually know him. He's from a priestly family. His father and mother were so I distributed among all the office. Look at me, a guy who's so close to God and who is so guarded and guided by God when I was really going tough, and me distributing prasad of some other thing and to all the people in the office, and this one guy take it. And I know that point of my life, I felt like as if someone slapped on my face, up front on my face. And it so happened later on, I went after the thing is done, distribution is done, I went to him. I don't know if I should mention his name, but anyway, the thing is, I said, bro, why didn't you take it? I know that, are you Christian? I know, because my aunts from my mother's sister, they used to avoid because they know we shouldn't be taking something offered to other things. So he said he started to share his testimony that when he was in graduation, he got to know Christ through a fellow preacher or pastor that time in his city from Andhra. Then I realized, what am I doing? I got saved from a deathly thing, from God's grace. And what am I living? A life of having to do boats. When I'm comfortable, I'm going on my own wishes and will. And then when I'm troubled, I'm coming to God. So that is a point. Actually, I would say it is the will of God that God led me to that particular organization to be selected rather than getting selected in any of the campuses that were visited to our college. Because if I had got really into that, I would end up in some other different pattern of my life. But meeting that guy, my friend, he had really, God has used him actually. He's been instrumental in my testimony for sure, in my life. Because meeting him made me realize what I'm doing to God, to myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yes, that moment I felt, his name is actually Karthik, okay. So he said, okay, I will take you to the church. So till that moment, I was there in Bangalore from the past 2 years, 2.5 years, but I haven't been to any particular church apart from a few weeks, once on Easter and once in Christmas. That too from a fellow friend of my class. She's from a Christian background. So she used to say, okay, at least you can come here if you are interested.
Yeah.
So they were not, I never displayed my faith, neither when I was working nor I was studying.
Okay.
So it so happened that particular point. Previously, when I was, saved after my operation, one pastor from my local church asked me, the one from my grandmom's side church, he asked me, do you like to get baptized now? I said, no, I don't want, because I'm still in 9th class only. Why should I? Because I might end up in going to movies or, worldly things. So I don't want to do it now, I said. And it took me almost 10 years to realize that Christ is the true Lord again. Because the course I had to go, the course of life I had to go through, I was so much lost actually, I would say, like the prodigal son. I had to go through really tough times because I left my God, I left my father. And that is the same time when things are going really bad at my home, back in Kakinada, with my father's business, people cheating him, bluffing him. The money which we are supposed to get was bluffed off, and we are had to go get away with a lot of properties, and we had to do something. And that is a point of time when I came back home, realizing that we has to sell away our big mansion kind of home out there in the city center. And that night I was it's way back in 2011. I remember that night. It's just before the New Year, December 30th, 2011. And that moment I felt, what is happening, God? What is this? Actually, I know already I'm been distancing myself from God. But again, see, when I'm troubled, when life really knocked me again, making me realize. But still that time I was not completely, going to church or something. But just, God, what is happening to us? Again, why is this situation? We lost our hope and we lost our house. That time still my dad didn't come to Christ. So it was in 2013, the same year when I had met that brother in TCS, Karthik. So that very year, it so happened, 2013, September and October, that very month, Dad also had confessed, saying that, yes, I will start following Christ. I was there in Bangalore. Dad was there here in hometown. So that year is a turning point, I would say, knowing Christ. It's like, brick by brick, God built me that 6-7 months. It's like almost 7-8 months till April 2014. That's when I got baptized.
Was there a pastor or a church that influenced you?
Surely, I would say the pastor in Bangalore, Bhaskar Anna, he's also from a priestly background, but he has to forsake his family. The families had denounced him completely. They had left him, saying, if you gonna embrace that God, you're not there anymore for us. So he's from his background. He has given me a lot of, with his sermons. God has spoken to me through him. I always think in these lines. When we embrace Christ, it doesn't mean we have a smooth life. But God gives us a strength to face it.
True.
Yes, life knocks us. Even Job was knocked down when he was so prosperous in his times. But he didn't leave Christ or he didn't leave the God he believed in. But the problem today is many youngsters, be it from a Christian family or believers, they say they're believers, they attend some church because they attend the Sunday schools. But the thing is, they don't really remember or keep the essence of what Christ really says. He has gone through a lot of tough times for our sake. If he thinks he could have gone through comfort and being a king, really, like in the place of Harrow, as people, the wise men gone to his place, we couldn't have gone through this salvation experience of what Christ has given us. And I say, tough times doesn't make us weak, but they make us tougher
True,
to
true.
face the better tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's all about clinging on to Him.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
we cling on to Him, even if it is tough time, we'll be tougher and stronger to face it by the strength of God and alone by Christ's help and not by anything else.
That's wonderful. Thank you. We're blessed to have a conversation with you. Thank you for speaking to us. Thank you, Shekhar.
Thank you, Sam.